Alright, drafters, here for the Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle-earth draft bucket list, or achievement list, or whatever you want to call it. It goes by a couple of different names. Originally called it the achievement list, but then people in the comments started calling it the bucket list, and I quite like the name, and I haven't decided which one I'm going to go for. If you haven't seen it before, it is a list of things that you can do in a draft set in Limited, and it's just sometimes flavorful, sometimes really cool mechanical things, sometimes just like fitting in with whatever's going on in the format. This time it's going to be really focused on a lot of the flavor, because Lord of the Rings is going to be an absolutely flavor-packed set. Not just talking about the food mechanic as well, just some of the cool mechanics that go on, and some of the cool relations between the cards that go on, and there's some really interesting things to do. This is a list, and it's a bit like if you're on Xbox and you have the achievements, or on PlayStation you got your trophies. Switch doesn't have anything because it's a bit rubbish like that, but I love the Switch anyway. But it's just some cool things and some things to watch out for in each draft format that we do. I do one every format, and it's one of my favorite videos to put together, but it doesn't always get some good views, so feel free to share it with people. If you are watching this for the first time, if you're new to the channel, please do think about subscribing. But let's get into some of the cool things you can do in this format. First up, we've got a pretty niche lore interaction going on here. We've got Bill Feeney, Bree Swindler, and Bill the Pony as well. If you didn't know, Bill the Pony actually came from Bill Feeney when they were in Bree, funnily enough. And Bill sold the hobbits the pony, and there's a bit of a story behind it. I won't go too much into it. But Bill Feeney, the card, has the text, target opponent gains control of target horse you control. If they do, you get 3 treasures. So it's just kind of talking about the interaction where Bill was sold to the hobbits. Bill sold Bill to the hobbits, and they named Bill the Pony after Bill Feeney, if I'm remembering the interaction or the story exactly right here. But that is kind of where it comes from. That's where Bill the Pony's name comes from, and it's really interesting that they've put this not only in the cards, and you've got Bill Feeney here, and he's like a card that exists, but actually cares about kind of giving horses away, and I think it's really sweet that it's in there. So that is definitely starting off. 2 uncommons here. Not something that you're going to be looking to do a lot. I don't think it's actually a great interaction to do. You probably want to do the first one here, but sometimes you'll just do it because it's funny. The second achievement on the bucket list is No Living Man, and this is the scene from the books, from the movie, if you're more inclined to that. And it's Eowyn Fearless Knight, exiling the Witch King of Angmar. I'm going to say you can use the Witch King of Angmar or the rare version, but I'm focused on the mythic one here because it has death trigger. And Eowyn takes it out because when it comes in, you can exile the Witch King because it's got more power than Eowyn, and it doesn't get a death trigger, and it's a pretty clean answer. But obviously it's retelling that moment from a story where Eowyn says, "I am no living man," because the Witch King isn't able to be harmed by any living man. And yeah, pretty sweet, flavorful story. I did try to avoid a lot of the ones where, well, this creature takes out this creature because that's what happens in the story. This creature is equipped with this artifact or this equipment because it's their equipment. I tried to avoid a lot of them because I felt a bit cheap, but this one was a really good, flavorful one that was suggested by a friend of mine, so I kind of had to include it, and yeah, I think it is a pretty good one to include here. Next up, we've got one which is just using a common, but it's using a common in a very specific way. And you probably need 2 to go infinite here, but you've got Lembas, not Lembas bread, because Lembas just means bread in Elvish, apparently. But we've got Lembas here, and it is the Elvish way bread, where 1 small bite is enough to feed a full-grown man, fill the belly of a full-grown man. But in Magic, it's a food artifact, which you can do the normal pay 2, sacrifice it, gain 3 life. But also when it comes into the battlefield, you scry 1, draw 1 card, and when you sacrifice, when it goes to the graveyard from the battlefield, it gets shuffled back in your deck. So if you have 2 of these, you can kind of go infinite and not ever deck yourself out. And in some of the decks, it might be quite useful to do that. There is a bit of mill going on, so being able to get that loop going on is probably quite good. I say it's quite good. It's not probably the best thing to aim for, but it is something which might come up, and it's pretty sweet when it does, because it does fill that flavour in a number of ways, of course, but yeah, it fits that flavour of the set really nicely, and it's a pretty cool thing, which I quite iconically remember from the extended version and the commentaries of the Fellowship of the Ring and watched when I was about 11 or something like that. Absolutely great. Got a couple of codes on the screen here. So these are codes for MTG Arena. Just some things from, I think there's one from a pre-release pack, one from a bonus pack from an F&M code. I can't remember exactly what it was. There's some down in the comments down below. Let me know in the comments if you do use any of these codes. It is definitely appreciated. There's just a little thank you. I've got a little good pile here, so there will be a few come out over the next few videos. I'll be picking up some from the pre-releases this weekend as well. If you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe. It is really appreciated. We are growing. It is a very new, well, not a new channel, but it's a very small channel, and every single individual subscription is very much appreciated. So again, thanks for watching, and I hope you are enjoying it. Going on the second half of the list, and we'll have one of the more memeable things from the films. So we've got Fly, You Fools, and it's Landwell, Horizon Witness, 5 mana, and when it attacks, it can make things flying. So this is saying that it makes the creatures have flying and they can get there. And if you make your ring bearer flyer, then why didn't they just do that in the books? Like, wasn't that easier? And all the theories would say when Gandalf says "Fly, you fools," that meant to take the eagles, because why not? And there's reasons for, there's reasons against. But you know, when we're talking about this, and there's a way to give you creatures flying with an eagle, we couldn't really leave this out of the Lord of the Rings bucket list, could we? So yeah, that's why it's in here. Make your ring bearer flying using Landowell Horizon Witness, specifically that one because it means the eagles fly it, and yeah, is Gandalf's "Fly, you fools." Of course, using the eagles isn't the only way to make something flying, and we've got a pretty spicy one here with Mordor Trebuchet. And essentially, Mordor Trebuchet, when you attack with an orc, makes a ballistic boulder flying 2/1 flyer. And if you can give this the ring, so if you make it the ring bearer, which you're going to have to use an instant speed trick for, I think Bombadil's Song's a green one which does it, there's nothing really in black, but you know, you just kind of, instead of having to carry it up to Mount Doom, you just duct tape the ring to a boulder, you stick it into the trebuchet, you yeet it up to the top of the crater, it falls in the lava, job done. Why do we have all that issue carrying it in the first place? The penultimate achievement we've got is do the thing from the thing. It's what they did in the film. It's the whole point of what they were doing. It was putting the One Ring into Mount Doom, and I really do like they've got this in the text for the cards. So Mount Doom cares about sacrificing a legendary artifact, and the One Ring is a legendary artifact. And then you get to do the thing, it just destroys everything apart from 2 creatures, which is Frodo and Sam. And it's, you know, it's a powerful ability, but it's clearly what they had in mind when they were putting the flavour onto these things. Mount Doom in particular, having the flavour of sacrificing a legendary artifact. And if you do manage to do it, it's pretty sweet. You're using is that a mythic and a mythic? I think they're both mythics here. I think Mount Doom is definitely a mythic. I think the One Ring is a mythic as well. But if you do manage to, it's pretty sweet. But that said, what is going to be more difficult than doing that? And it is the 9 riders. So we know we've got a Nazgul, and you can have up to 9 Nazgul in your deck. If you look at having a pod of 8 drafters, each using 3 packs, so your normal kind of draft, it is, I think it's something like a 1 in 9 million chance of getting all 9 in a single pod. So that means that if every time you draft, you open a collector booster, you're 3 times more likely to open the One Ring serialized version than you are to get 9 Nazgul in the draft. So yeah, that's just kind of having 9 Nazgul or more opened in the draft. It's if you want to make sure you get them all yourself, it's going to be even more difficult. So it's really sweet they got this. I don't mind it being uncommon. It's a pretty cool card. It'll be cool to get like 2, 3, 4 of in your draft. I think it's a strong card by itself. It comes in as a 3 mana 2/3 Death Touch, which tempts the ring tempts you, which is pretty good. You know, there's a lot of 4 mana 4/4s knocking about, which this can deal with. It puts you up, it levels up your ring emblem, and it does some really cool things. But to get all 9, and we won't even go into it if we want to use all 9 arts, because it's pretty cool. They've got all 9 arts there, and I like they're all quite different and kind of a little bit unique, but still definitely all Nazgul. It's pretty sweet, and you know, I think that it literally is the most difficult thing to do in the format, I think, apart from like just winning with 40 basic islands or something like that. But you know, it's really, really ridiculous, really, really rare. Nobody's ever going to do it. Like, I can almost guarantee that. But if it does happen, it's pretty cool, and it will be powerful. So that's got to be the top of the list here. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you want to follow along, tweet me if you managed to do any of these. Stick a screenshot, tweet me at PLD_MTG. As I mentioned earlier as well, though, you can feel free to subscribe to the channel. That's always, always, always appreciated. I hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments if there's any other things that you think of which are really cool flavor things or really cool achievements you can do in the format. Like I say, that there are plenty of quite easy 2-card combos, but let us know if there's anything which really strikes you that jumps out at you that I haven't mentioned, because there's some cool things there. I'll have a little bit of help picking out all of these ones in this one, but you know, I think it would make for a good video. Anyway, thanks again for watching. Catch you again soon. Bye.